Welcome to the deep dive. So, if you're currently renting near Portland, I think we know exactly what kind of anxiety you're probably carrying.
hmm
You're likely in a smaller space, right? Maybe an older apartment in inner SC or NW. And, every single year that lease renewal comes up and the rent just inches up again.
Right.
You're shelling out $2,000, maybe $2,500 a month. And the thought that keeps you up at night is probably this: I'm already paying a mortgage, but I have nothing to show for it. Am I am I just completely priced out of this city?
That exact feeling that you're perpetually priced out is, and I'm not exaggerating, it's the #1 mental barrier we saw reflected in all the sources.
So people just assume they missed their chance.
They do.
No.
Many people just assume that, unless they bought 5 or even 10 years ago, that opportunity is just gone. But this deep dive, it has a mission.
Okay.
And that mission is to show you that first-time buyers are absolutely still purchasing homes in the Portland metro area.
Yeah.
They've changed the rules of the game.
Okay, so let's unpack that reality. Because the math has changed for sure, and the locations have definitely shifted.
They really have.
We're going to look just outside the city core to find where affordability and space and that long-term value are actually aligning for first-time buyers like you. We're going beyond the hype to see what's really working.
And the key to this whole thing is a mindset shift. It's a massive one.
Wow, so
For like a generation of Portland buyers, the default goal was always to buy in Portland. The drivers were, almost romantic.
yeah, walkability, coffee shops, music venues.
Exactly. The cultural pulse, being close to your job downtown. That was the ideal.
And look, when prices were lower and rates were different, that was an achievable ideal for a lot of people. But when we look at the source material now, the reality is that rising prices, really tough inventory limits, and frankly, the constant need to fix up 1920s houses, it's forced a total reevaluation.
It really has. Buyers have completely flipped the script on their search. They're no longer asking, how do I get a home in Portland?
They're asking something different.
A completely different and I think much more powerful question. They're asking, how close do I need to be to Portland to live the life I want without, sacrificing my entire financial future?
That is a critical distinction. It's not about physical blocks anymore. It's about efficiency.
Exactly. When you redefine the goal that way, just moving your search lens a little bit, just slightly outside the inner core, it instantly opens up possibilities.
What kind of possibility?
You find communities with lower prices, you see newer housing stock, which means way less maintenance hassle, and crucially, you get that one thing everyone wants: breathing room.
A dedicated home office, maybe?
A home office, a small backyard for the dog, or just, a laundry room that isn't also in your kitchen.
So if that goal has shifted from downtown access to financial viability, we have to look at what's really driving these decisions today. The sources suggest that today's first-time buyer they're incredibly pragmatic.
Oh, totally. They're not chasing luxury, they're chasing solutions.
It's a practical search.
It's entirely practical. And when you look at the patterns of who's actually succeeding, you see these purchases are driven by 5 core priorities. And they are ranked like strictly by necessity.
Okay, what's number 1?
Number 1, and you cannot stress this enough, is a manageable monthly payment. That is the fundamental barrier.
Yeah.
It determines the entire search radius from the very beginning.
That makes sense, but doesn't the need for more space immediately challenge that budget? I mean, with remote work, you almost need a dedicated second room.
It's a great point, but the sources show buyers are balancing the two. So priority number 2 is a realistic commute setup, or even more common now, just reliable remote work accessibility.
Okay.
Number 3 is enough space for right now, like that home office, but also with an eye toward the future. They're buying for the next 5 to 7 years, not just for next year.
What about the neighborhood itself? That feels like it would be a major trade-off when you move out of the city core.
Well, priority 4 is finding neighborhoods that feel stable and safe and just livable. Buyers are looking for good schools and reliable amenities, even if they aren't, right next door to some nationally famous restaurant. And finally, number 5, they are focused intensely on long-term value and stability, not short-term hype. They want the equity they're building to feel secure.
So that practical mindset, manageable payment, realistic access, necessary space, that absolutely explains the patterns that are emerging. These buyers aren't trying to win some kind of zip code lottery.
Not at all.
They're solving a very real financial problem. They are finding their home outside of the hype.
They are, and that focus directs us specifically to the key suburbs where all the action is happening. The sources, they repeatedly highlight 3 areas where first-time buyers are most active: Beaverton, Hillsboro, and Tigard.
Okay, let's dive into those, starting with Beaverton. This one comes up a lot as a top choice for people leaving Portland. Why is Beaverton such a logical next step? What's it offering?
Beaverton is sort of the ultimate balance point. It doesn't really feel like a compromise. It feels more like an upgrade in stability. It has a really robust, established job base of its own. It's sitting right on the edge of major tech and manufacturing employers. You know, think Nike, think the Intel campuses.
So for a lot of commuters, that actually shortens their commute, right?
Dramatically. It cuts down on the stress of fighting through downtown traffic. And crucially, it still has that connective tissue with the city.
You're talking about the Max line.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It has fantastic access to the light rail, the Max Blue and Red lines. So you can still get into downtown or to the airport without a car if you have to. It's the closest of these 3 to the city core, and it delivers those established suburban neighborhoods, great amenities, and really highly rated schools.
That sounds almost too good, which, usually means the trade-offs are pretty significant.
Yeah.
If Beaverton offers that much balance, what do buyers have to accept when they choose it?
The main trade-off is competition. Yeah, because Beaverton is so central and popular, certain neighborhoods, especially those near the Max lines, can get intensely competitive. You're not getting the deep discounts you might find a little further out.
So prices are all over the place, and you still have to be ready for a fight in some areas, and you're giving up some of that core Portland walkability.
Correct. You're trading that, universal walkability for connectivity and for space. Beaverton works best for buyers who are prioritizing stability, convenience, and flexibility. It's probably the smoothest transition from renting, especially if your job's on the west side anyway.
Okay, so let's keep moving west to Hillsboro. The sources suggest this is the spot for buyers who are all about maximizing their budget and getting sheer space. What gives Hillsboro that financial edge?
Hillsboro is undeniably more affordable than Portland and inner suburbs like Beaverton. If your goal is to get the most square footage for your dollar, Hillsboro is the answer. And a huge part of the appeal there is the amount of newer construction and planned communities.
I think we need to pause on that.
Yeah.
Newer construction.
Yeah.
A massive pain point for Portland renters is the constant maintenance that comes with old houses.
It was huge.
Old wiring, plumbing issues, trying to find a contractor who works on historic homes. It's a nightmare.
Right. And that's the psychological benefit of Hillsboro. A lot of buyers are just escaping that maintenance fatigue. They want modern systems, they want better insulation, and, a lower chance of having to replace a 7-year-old furnace next winter.
It's like a reset button.
It is a reset button. You find larger homes, bigger lots, and you're still sitting on a massive, very strong employment base in tech and manufacturing.
But that space comes at the cost of distance. If I still have to get into Portland 3 times a week, that can be a grueling commute. What are the trade-offs there?
The primary trade-off is definitely the commute for anyone working physically in downtown Portland. It's a longer drive. It can often stretch past 45 minutes, especially during peak traffic. And, Hillsboro is distinctly suburban. It just lacks that dense, mixed-use city feel.
And I imagine public transit gets a lot thinner the farther west you go.
Exactly. Transit access varies a lot, and your reliance on a car goes way up once you're beyond that immediate Max corridor. Hillsboro really appeals to buyers who prioritize space, new houses, and long-term growth, especially remote or hybrid workers who value their home as a sanctuary more than daily city access.
Okay, that leaves our third area, Tigard. The source material calls Tigard the overlooked central option. Why does it fly under the radar, and what makes it special?
Tigard is appealing really because of its geography. It's just a simple, reliable hub.
A hub.
Yeah, it's centrally located right off major freeways, situated right between Portland, Beaverton, and Tualatin. So while it might not have the buzz of a place like Beaverton, it has these fantastic established residential neighborhoods.
So if Hillsboro is for maximizing space and Beaverton is for convenience, what's Tigard's unique advantage?
Freeway access. For a lot of commuters who rely on their cars, Tigard offers easier access to multiple directions, and crucially, it lets them bypass some of the absolute worst bottlenecks on I-5 through the city.
That's an interesting way to frame it. A slightly longer distance that avoids brutal stop-and-go traffic can actually feel like a better commute.
It can, yeah.
So what's the compromise people make when they choose Tigard?
It's balance over excitement. Tigard has fewer destination neighborhoods, way less nightlife or entertainment than inner Portland. It's quiet, it's residential. Also, because it's an established market, inventory can be kind of limited sometimes. It's not where you go for a huge, splashy new development.
So Tigard is a great fit for buyers focused on simple livability, reliable commutes, and stable neighborhoods, but without needing that intense urban experience.
That's a perfect summary.
These locations, Beaverton, Hillsboro, Tigard, they all solve the practical problems that Portland proper just can't right now, which are high prices, small spaces, and high maintenance.
Exactly. It's a strategic move.
Okay, so here's where we hit the biggest psychological speed bump. We have to talk about the mental block that buying is always way more expensive than renting. The sources suggest this assumption stops people from even, looking into it.
It's a massive hurdle, and it's often just incorrect, especially when you're paying rent over $2,000 a month. Here's the reality check.
Okay.
Many renters paying between $2,000 and $2,500 a month are genuinely surprised, like shocked, to find that a mortgage payment, and that's including property taxes and insurance, in a place like Hillsboro or Tigard, can be a really similar monthly outlay.
But the difference is that one of those payments is it's gone, and the other is building wealth.
Precisely. Rent is 100% expense. A mortgage payment, especially after the first few years, channels a growing piece of that into equity. You're trading a fluctuating, purely outgoing payment for a stable payment that builds your long-term net worth. The number one takeaway is just run the numbers with a professional. Don't guess based on some scary market headline.
Speaking of guessing, what are the other common misconceptions that keep first-time buyers stuck in, analysis paralysis?
There are 4 big myths we see in the sources. The first is, I need perfect credit. You just don't. The required score really depends on the loan type, and many buyers qualify with, less than stellar credit.
And the most paralyzing one, the one about the down payment.
I need 20% down.
Mm-hmm.
That myth is incredibly powerful and just so outdated.
Right.
In reality, so many buyers successfully use programs like FHA, VA loans, or specific state and regional first-time buyer incentives that allow for down payments as low as 3 or 3.5%.
Yeah.
The key is just knowing which programs you can use, which is why having those early financial conversations is so important.
We already busted the third one, the belief that you can't buy unless you stay right in Portland proper. What about the fourth misconception, the one about just waiting until you feel ready?
That's the most nebulous one, isn't it? Buyers say, oh, I'll know when I'm ready, which usually means when they have every single detail perfectly sorted out.
Which is
It's never. The sources stress that the benefit of just having an early conversation is that you replace all that uncertainty with actual, actionable information. Even if you're not planning to buy for a year, just understanding your position shifts the power from the scary market back to you.
That's a fantastic way to put it. So what's the immediate, actionable next step for the listener who's renting right now and feeling that uncertainty? We need to guide them away from that huge, overwhelming question, where should I buy?
Right.
And toward a set of practical, personal questions that lead to some clarity.
The alignment process is all about self-assessment, not market assessment. Start by asking, what monthly payment feels genuinely comfortable for me?
And I like that you stress the word comfortable, not just what a bank says you can afford, but what lets you sleep at night and still save some money.
Exactly. Then you have to compare lifestyle needs. How important is that cultural walkability versus having way more space and the lower maintenance of a newer home?
And finally, you have to assess your own life rhythm. What does my daily routine actually require in terms of a commute or getting to things?
And maybe most importantly, am I confident I can stay put for at least 5 to 7 years? Because that's the timeline. That's what ensures you get the long-term benefits of building equity and having that stability.
And when you answer those personal questions, your budget comfort, the space you need, how long you're staying, it suddenly makes a place like Beaverton or Hillsboro or Tigard make sense or not, based on the reality of your life, not just those scary headlines.
Exactly. First-time buyers are still succeeding near Portland. They're just being thoughtful, and they're widening that search lens beyond the city limits. And this focus on affordability and lifestyle and comfort, it's leading them to homes that actually fit their lives, not just some aspirational dream.
And for you, the listener who might be renting and feeling that uncertainty, the most powerful first step isn't committing to buy a house.
No.
It is simply getting clarity on where you stand.
That is the final thought we want to leave you with. Embrace the process of just understanding your options and your financial position without feeling any pressure or any rush to jump in. This is just. It's knowledge for knowledge's sake. And that knowledge is the single most important tool that leads to truly informed and ultimately really successful homeownership decisions.